Good afternoon. You're watching AB Live, a brand new news-based chat show in which we discuss topics ranging from business, news, politics, and so much more. On today's episode, we are discussing the GCC's smartphone industry. And with me in the studio, we have Sanmeet Singh Kochhar, who is the General Manager of HMD. Thank you so much for joining us, Sanmeet.
Thank you so much. Hi, everybody.
Right, so Sanmeet, firstly, I'd like to understand what HMD is because, well, we've heard, we've read, we've seen a lot about HMD as a startup, but now just the sheer scale of the organization just doesn't let me call it a startup anymore.
Yes, so we are a startup which is based in Finland. We bring the best of the smartphone ecosystem for our fans. We have a very strong tie-up with Nokia, with which we have exclusive license for Nokia phones for the next 10 years. Then we have a very, very strong tie-up with Google. And we bring the pure Android devices which keep getting better for all our fans. And this is Android as Google intends it to be. Then we have strong tie-ups with other players in the ecosystem, including Qualcomm, Foxconn, etc. So we are a startup. Today we have a presence in over 80 countries across the world. And our smartphones are activating within less than 2 years of launch. We are already activating in over 180 countries across different across different parts of the world.
All right, interesting. But you are branded as a home of Nokia phones.
Yes.
And Nokia itself has had a very, very interesting story. I think back in 2007 when it had a 50% market share to 2013 where it went down to 3% when, there was a time when all of us just owned Nokia phones and now not a lot of people actually have Nokia phones. So then where does HMD fit into all of this entire journey that Nokia has been through?
Yes, so Nokia has been one of the most loved brands, not only in the smartphones or in the phones category, but across categories, across industries. And so as HMD Global, our ambition is to bring to our fans, the Nokia fans, what Nokia was really known for. So the trust with Nokia, the reliability of Nokia, you can see that in our craftsmanship. So our finished design, the craftsmanship, the durability, the overall trust and reliability in our hardware. That is one. Second is that, in terms of software, we bring within the Android space the best of Android. The pure Android, the most secure, the most, the latest Android, and the one with which gets upgraded for the next 2 years to the next two software versions of Android, and with the latest monthly security updates for the next 3 years. So, in terms of Android, we bring in the best for our fans. As I said, in terms of hardware, we are looking at the trust, the craftsmanship, the design, the quality of Nokia. And finally, very, very important point, there is a set of people who have always used a Nokia phone. But at the same time, there are young consumers who may not have used that, and we were looking at targeting those, and they are the ones who want the latest, who don't want to be told what to do. So for example, they don't want to be told that please put these apps already in my phone. They don't want that.
Inbuilt apps?
They want their own. They want to decide what they want to do. So we are targeting those people, and we are giving them an open space like a pure Android, and we want them to choose what they want. Similarly, they are living their life in social media. They have a lot of this information which is there on the phone, for which they want security. Right. So, and these are the young people. This is how they are living their life. So they want enhanced security experience on their phone, which is something that we are promising them as HMD Global, that on their Nokia smartphones they can get monthly security updates for the next 3 years. So we offer the most secure Android devices for our fans.
Right, Sanmeet, I am going to get to security. I think that is a huge topic in itself.
Yes.
But before that, since we're talking about like the brand and the strategy and where HMD actually plays a role in all of this. So like I said, 2017 is when we saw like a huge decline of Nokia phones. And then HMD was launched in 2016, 2017 around the same time. So would you say that HMD is facilitating the comeback of Nokia phones in itself?
So I won't call it a comeback because there were feature phones of Nokia which were always selling. I would say this is a new chapter in the Nokia smartphones. Right. So HMD as of now, we have started in 2000. middle of 2017, we started with the smartphones in Nokia, and multiple countries across the world, we are already amongst the top few smartphone players in those countries. So, for example, in UAE, where we are already, in 2018, we were amongst the top 5 smartphone players.
Okay.
Already in UAE space.
Right.
So that's something incredible.
So do you know who are in the top 5 list now?
Yes, but I won't want to mention the
Okay.
names of our competitors, but I would rather talk about ourselves. So we are, and within this short period and in such a competitive environment, getting into that space, and this is on smartphones. If you look at all the phones, which is feature phone plus smartphones, in UAE we are already number 1.
Okay.
So I think that's an incredible achievement, and in terms of our endeavor of bringing the right, both hardware and software, and bringing to the Nokia fans what they truly loved about Nokia.
Right. So you mentioned feature phones. Do you see a market for that in the region? Considering I think Nokia and HMD is only ones who's coming up with the feature phone model.
So see, feature phones still have a strong role to play, and in fact, we have launched certain feature phones like the Nokia 3310, and there was a lot of excitement around that phone. Not only for the novelty factor, but also because of the fact that it has over 30 days of standby battery time.
Okay.
So nowadays we see in terms of use of devices, there are a lot of people who, while they're using their smartphones, but sometimes over the weekend if they are going out, they want to carry their feature phones, which does not have emails, or they do not get bothered by what's happening on their smartphone, but they just want to keep something through which they can make their calls.
But Sanmeet, I have to ask you this: isn't that sort of a fad then? Because again, Nokia 3310, a huge favorite. Like it was nostalgic for a lot of people, and then it was a fad for some time. But now again, nobody's talking about it. So do you have that fear as a company, as a brand, that it's very temporary, the fan base?
No, so see, 3310 is just one of the examples that I gave. The feature phone base and the feature phone market is still huge globally, and there is a base for it. There is a consumer demand, and there are reasons for that. One is, of course, there is a price difference. There is a big price difference between smartphones and feature phones. Second is that this whole story on the battery is something which is very relevant even today for a lot of places where people may not be able to charge their phone on a day-to-day basis, or they want their phone to work for longer period of time without charging them. So still there is a lot of benefit in terms of feature phones as compared to even low-cost smartphones. So,
Right.
there is a relevant mention or relevant benefit which exists, because of which feature phones is a big market.
Understood. Now, speaking of performance, and speaking of performance and sales in this region, the global smartphone market has sort of seen a downfall in the past few years, especially this year, and even regional smartphone market has seen a downfall. Why would you say that is? Because for me, as a layman, I'm no expert when it comes to technology. For me, it's just a little strange because there are more people coming into the market. The mobile penetration in this region is 200%.
Yes.
So why is there still a downfall then?
See, again, one of the reasons is that the penetration of smartphones has gone up to a certain level. That is one. Second is in terms of innovation. See, like you see, it's difficult to continue to innovate in the smartphone space. So, sometimes the time for change of the smartphone, the cycle increases because the innovation sometimes becomes a little slower. So for example, in this MWC, you saw that there was phones which were on 5G, or there were some other different designs, or
The foldable
phones which were coming up. But at the same time, the market is still getting very commoditized in this space. So, we do not expect the smartphone market globally to increase too much. But at the same time, I would like to state that in 2018, the Nokia smartphone consumer base tripled over what it was in 2017. So
Oh, wow.
that's something that we achieved globally.
And why do you think that was?
That's again because of the key differentiation that we were able to offer on our phones, which was again, as I said, not only because of our finished designs, the craftsmanship, but also because of the software differentiation, wherein we are not only offering the latest Android, but also with our promise of it becoming better over time. So once you buy a phone, it continues to get better over time.
Right.
So that's one of the key differentiation that people have been loving. And now we are seeing that, for example, my niece, bought a Nokia 5 in 2017. It was at that time on Nougat, Android Nougat.
Right.
And some of our friends bought another, competitor device which was on Nougat as well. And 2 years from now, then, today, the Nokia 5 that she bought at that time, like around 650 dirhams, it has moved to Oreo in 2018, and now it's moved to Pi.
So you're saying the same device can be upgraded
It
multiple times?
Gets upgraded 2 times.
Okay.
So the two new version of Android, and when the device is upgraded, it almost becomes like a new device because
Right.
it has latest features which are there on the new new software which were not there on the existing ones.
So basically, you don't really have to buy a new phone. You can just upgrade the phone that you already have.
Exactly. So nowadays we see that sometimes what happens is people are being forced to change their phone.
Yeah.
Not only it becomes obsolete, but also because sometimes it has battery issues, or because it is hanging, or the phone overall experience becomes slow.
But it's also a company strategy, don't you think? Because people do want them to come back and buy new phones. It's a sales strategy.
So see, the way we look at it, we want our fans to get the best out of their phones, and we believe that it works for us if the overall experience of our fans on our devices is enhanced. So for example, talking of battery, so we have a feature called adaptive battery. So what
Okay.
happens is, in the new operating system, the Pi, it understands which applications I'm trying to spend most of my time on, okay, and which are the applications which are not important for me. So when it's allocating battery, it allocates only for the applications which I spend most time on. This function is called adaptive battery. So therefore, my battery performance enhances,
Okay.
even though my phone is 2 years old. But because of the new software, my overall battery performance is enhanced as compared to another device which is running an old software.
Right, understood. Now, Sanmeet, I was also at the Mobile World Congress, and there was just so many things that I saw.
Yes.
There were those Energizer, the really fat phones that look like bricks. There were the foldable phones,
Yes.
the dual screen phones, whatnot.
Yes.
So what would you say are the new features that are coming into the market that is going to lure new customers or more consumers to sort of buy your brand?
Yes, so there are a couple of things that I want to mention over here. One is that 5G again is on its way now. A lot of operators are now adopting 5G technology. We believe that the overall latency is going to drop. The speeds are going to go up significantly. There are a lot of use cases of 5G, not only in smartphones but also overall IoT devices. So it is going to play a big role, and it's significantly better than the previous generation. So that's one of the important important changes innovations which are going to happen.
But I need to ask you again, speaking of 5G,
Yes.
you mentioned a lot of operators, telecom companies, they are embracing the 5G technology. But are the devices today actually compatible for 5G technology to be used on a consumer level, not a commercial level?
So see, it is moving. It won't happen quickly, but it is moving, and it's starting to happen. And we expect that in some time we'll see more and more devices which will come, which will be 5G. So it started, but of course, as of now, at a consumer level, the devices are not really there at the right, at a reasonable price. But it will come. It will happen at some point.
Right, but then again, and Nokia has really signed a deal, right, when it comes to 5G deployment?
Yes, so we are working on devices with 5G, but I can't at this stage reveal what is going to be the future roadmap of our 5G devices.
Okay.
But what I can say is that we are working in this space.
All right, great. Now again, coming back to the emerging technologies,
Yes.
so AI, of course, and VR,
Yes.
artificial intelligence, VR, etc., is taking the entire industry by storm right now.
Yes,
How
yes.
are you going to capitalize on that? How is Nokia capitalizing?
Again, so
on
this
that?
if you look at emerging technologies and emerging trends, as I said, the hardware in the devices is again getting more and more commoditized,
Okay.
and software is becoming very important, and the AI and machine learning space is becoming very, very critical. And this is where I try to explain that we see a lot of change happening very quickly.
Right.
So already in Android Pie we see a lot of a lot of apps are working on artificial intelligence. So for example, in the evening when I look at my phone, it already tells me like at around 7:30 how much time it would take for me to reach home, or it suggests whom can I call, like at 4 o'clock whom do I normally email or call. It is making these suggestions which is based on artificial intelligence. The phone gets to know me
Correct.
much better. And as we move to Q and R, the Android we are on pi. So when we move to the Q&R, the rate of increase or how artificial intelligence is going to play a role in our lives, it's going to increase. It's going to be much faster. So this is where we are right now, where are the whole, the relevance of our promise becomes very important when we are saying that across all price bands ranging from 300 dirhams to 2000 dirhams, all devices would be the first to get upgraded
Okay.
to the new software which Android releases, and people would have the benefit of using those applications which are working on artificial intelligence. That is something that we believe is a key differentiator and a key benefit for consumers who are buying Nokia phones. So today, people should not just be looking at 32 GB memory or 24 megapixel camera. It's or like a 5.5 inch screen or 6.5 inch screen. People need to look at what is the software, what is the commitment from the manufacturer in terms of software upgradability and the security updates.
Right, so Android upgradability is a huge point for you, of course. But now again, just trying to understand the category that you all essentially fall under with regards to competition.
Yes.
So would you all go by, say, the Chinese brands? That's Oppo, there's Huawei, there's Honor, etc. Or would you all fall under the other bracket, which is Samsung, there's Apple, etc.? What is your bracket?
So look, we are looking at when we started, we had a stated objective of being among the top few smartphone players globally. And when you want to do that, you don't want to be categorized in one price band. We have models across different price band. We have a device which is as of now 2,300 dirhams as well, which is the Nokia 9 PureView, which is the first device which has 5 lenses, and not only it has, but when it's taking an image, in every image it uses all the 5 lenses to collect information. Therefore, the information that you get in your pictures is second to none. It's one of the best and very, very great innovation in terms of imaging technology.
Right.
And then we have a device which is at 300 dirham, which uses an Android Go platform, which is the lower cost version or the lighter version of Android, which is directed at feature phone users. So which is a lower, a lighter version, which means that it uses less battery and it uses less data. It uses less space in your phone. So we are playing across the spectrum of price band, and we are targeting consumers across different price bands.
Okay, great. So, me, just 2 brands that I would like to discuss with you. Firstly, again, in comparison to Nokia's, of course. Again, back in 2007, 2008, the 2 brands that were really well known in the market were Nokia, BlackBerry.
Yes.
We don't hear anything about BlackBerry anymore. BlackBerry has had an unfortunate death. And then we saw a downfall of Nokia. And then now we've started hearing more about Nokia. So what is the direction that Nokia is taking? And what is it going to do so that it doesn't have a similar fate as that of BlackBerry, if I may be?
So again, it's important to always be relevant as a brand and as a product to the consumer. So, as I said, Nokia was always one of the most trusted brands available across categories. And even today, the brand is very relevant because people are looking for trust and reliability from their smartphones.
Right.
In this age where there are a lot of issues around security, data breach, people want that trust and reliability, especially the younger consumers. Okay, this is one. Second is people want the latest from their devices, and people don't want to be left behind. So which is where, and our whole software, our whole promise of not only launching the latest devices, but the devices continuing to always get better over time as we move forward. This makes our product as well as the brand very, very relevant for the younger consumers, for the consumers who are buying phones today. So I think it's important to look at how you continue to remain relevant for your fans. And I think that's something which we need to focus on. And the growth, I think,
so you're
should
focusing
be
on evolution, basically.
Evolution, and the growth then should come as a result rather than focusing on growth. You need to look at how you can enhance the lives of your fans through their smartphones.
Understood. And the second brand that I would like to talk about is, of course, Huawei, which has been in the news in the past couple of weeks. I won't ask you about the details of it because, again, I know it's a different brand, etc. But right now with the Huawei ban that's happening, do you think you could be benefited, or how exactly are you going to be impacted by this ban on Huawei?
So look, I don't want to talk about what's happening to Huawei or Honor because, as you know, Honor is also owned by Huawei. But what I can definitely say is that in this context, the European origin of our brand and our company becomes very important.
Okay.
The fact that we are a Finnish brand, a European brand, and the fact that our promise, because with this whole story which has been there in the last few weeks, the point on upgradability becomes very important. Everyone now talking about Android upgradability, and this has been our promise for the last 2 years since we launched our smartphones, that we are coming with the pure Android, with the Android One story.
Okay.
Which is the best of Android that Google has to offer.
Right.
And this now becomes very relevant, very topical in today's environment, when everybody is talking about upgradability and everybody is asking which are the phones which are getting upgradable. And we are so proud to say that each and every device that we have, including a device at 300 dirhams, is going to get upgraded. We have the right resourcing because we believe that this is the future, and all your devices are going to continue to keep getting better over time. So,
right.
This whole proposition that we have becomes very relevant in today's times, both in terms of the upgradability, performance, enhancement of the device, as well as the security of the device.
But do you think you're going to get some of the consumers or customers that Huawei had, now that they can't really go and buy Huawei phones?
See, again, I'm saying that our proposition becomes more relevant.
Okay.
So consumers who are there in the market, see, they have all the options to choose from.
Right.
I would say that this options becomes very, very attractive for them, because this does not only have the Nokia trust, the Nokia quality, the Nokia craftsmanship, but also the enhanced software which continues to get better for the next 2 years. This is the promise for next 2 years, the software upgrade, and the security monthly updates for three years.
Right, so you're totally ready with the sales pitch then for those customers. But thank you so much, Sanmeet, for joining us today and for those valuable insights. And thank you for watching AB Live. We will be back again next Tuesday.
Thank you.